Hello, everyone.
Sorry, I had to take care of something real quick.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, I guess we can start off with just saying welcome and thanks for tuning in for our first ever virtual meeting. We kind of decided to have it this way just because of COVID. We think it's safe for everybody and hopefully accessible for everybody to be able to reach us through the stream through Facebook and YouTube. So I also just want to say if anybody at any time has questions, please send them in. We're happy to answer anything that you want to discuss. We do have an agenda for the day, so we'll be going by that. But any questions relating to what we're talking about are totally welcome. And then at the end of our agenda, we're going to have time for public input. So please don't be afraid to voice your opinions or concerns or questions if you have them. So let's call this meeting to order, and we'll start off with our mission statement, which is bringing unity in the community through education, understanding, and love. And now we're going to have introductions to the board since it's been a little bit, and we might have some new people. Not everybody from the board is here with us today, but we will all each introduce ourselves and our titles. So to start, my name is Sonia Vasquez. I am the president, and I'm happy to be here today. So whoever wants to go next, can go next.
I'm Amanda
Hi,
Worley.
Okay, I'll go.
Oh, yay, virtual meetings. Go ahead, Amanda.
Okay, I'm Amanda Worley. I am the secretary of the board.
I'm Elijah Ashbeck. I'm the vice president.
My name is
Kevin Siebert. I am a member of the board and the marketing and publicity chair.
I'm Sam Gretz, and I am the activities and events chair.
I am Natasha Khan, and I'm the governance chair, and I'm on the finance committee as well.
All right, thank you all. So the first thing that we have on our agenda today is to go over the governance committee. So that would be Natasha, if you want to take it away.
Okay, yes. So we have finished a bunch of important documents for our group. Those include the bylaws, the board and committee expectations, the NDA, the board application, and our social media policy. Right now I'm working on the board and finishing up the board and committee member applications because we do have a vacancy on our board right now. So I'm just kind of working on finalizing that process, and like the first step I think would just be, if you're interested in joining a committee or a board, would just be to contact us through email or any of our social medias and just say that you're interested in learning more, and we can kind of go from there until I have the finalized process. Right now our board has 10 members, and we have 2 people who are just on committees as well. Trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know, is there anything I'm missing?
I think that's good.
Okay.
All right. So was there anything else that anybody else had? Do we have any questions for governance at all? Nope. Okay. All right. So we can move on now to marketing and PR committee. So that would be Kevin, and you can take it away.
Okay. Hello, everyone. One of the biggest projects that we've had since the last time we met was setting up our website, making sure that we had everything updated and everything put together, and we are thankful now to officially be a .org. So if you ever want to check out our website, we are online at www.lakeshoresunitedvisionaries.org. And there you'll see a bunch of our campaigns and updates on our events. We've also got a little kind of blog started on there called Love Notes, where we'll be updating with some stories and research and things that we're up to. Sonia's got a really great article up there right now about COVID and the prison system right now, which is a very interesting read, so you should check that out. So check us out on our website, yay us. I'm trying to find the agenda because everything shut down on me for a hot second, so just a sec. Since we last met, we did a special Live with Love broadcast on Indigenous Peoples Day, and that was super duper cool. And we learned a lot about Indigenous Peoples Day and had some really great conversations. So that was awesome. We will continue to do some Live with Loves as we continue to find more topics and more things to talk about. And the world is changing in such a way that there's always something to talk about. So that's all I think I have. Unless I'm missing something, guys, feel free to correct me.
So I guess I just want to put out there that with the Live with Love, we are definitely open to taking suggestions on what you want to hear about. Any discussions, if there's certain topics that you'd like us to cover, or something that you're interested in that you want to find out more about or hear our opinions on. Or if there's any specific special guests that you would be interested in us having. That's another great thing about the live, is that we can invite other people in to join us. So yeah, definitely give us your suggestions. Another thing that I guess I would like to just add in about the PR and marketing is that we will be having t-shirts available for purchase with our logo on, and any of the profits from those t-shirts will go to the organization. They will be on the Teespring that I have, my personal art Teespring, which you can also find some other t-shirts available right now, including the one t-shirt and sweatshirt that goes to the profits go to Ruby, who was affected by the unfortunate instance at Walmart with the hunting license. So definitely check those out. I'm sure at some point we can share a link. Otherwise,
I just did that.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So I think that's it for now, unless anybody else has anything with PR and marketing.
Just quickly for the people in the comments, the link that I sent out there, if you click on it, you'll get a bunch of different links that are all associated with some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. The Kathy Yauk petition is in there. The Ruby Love t-shirt fundraiser is in there, and as well as some other information. So if you click that link, you'll find a lot of this stuff there as well. That's all.
All right. So we can move on then to activities and events committee. So that would be Sam, if you want to take it away.
Have been doing a lot of things. A lot of them haven't been led by me, so I am going to pass it off to Eli, who is in charge of our protest for Kathy Yauk.
I wouldn't call so much as a protest, more or less a show of support for Ruby. We've pretty much been, I've been helping her in any way possible. I mean, we had the court date. What was that, back in September? September, right? Was it September or October, Sonia?
October, I believe, the beginning of October.
Right. Yeah, we had that one. Kathy made it to that one. And then her court appearance on November 2nd or 3rd, I believe, she did not show up for, so she currently has a warrant out for her arrest. That's on Patricia Coppa for putting her on a signature, like getting her signature bond. And I mean, this isn't event related, but I mean, yeah, so we'll go into that a little bit more as we proceed, I guess. But otherwise, events, I mean, it's kind of hard to work on, like, wanting to do events right now. With you got how many factors? You got the election drama, COVID, and now it's winter time. So there'll be things on the way. We just want the numbers to decrease before we do anything that would be considered a super spreader event.
Definitely. So I guess we can go into, we talked a little bit about, the Yauk case. Also Ruby and her GoFundMe / the petition. The link that Kevin linked has those and that information dealing with that. If you're interested in learning more or donating or purchasing a shirt involved with that. As Eli said, the Kathy did not show up for her last court date. So, going forward, we'll see what happens as for any more demonstrations or anything like that involving it. So the other thing that we had was Eli and Tosa. So Eli, if you want to talk a little bit about your time there and how that was for you.
Yeah, it was a lot like Kenosha. The reason why I went out there personally was to show support for people out there who were demanding justice for Alvin Cole, Jay Anderson, and I can't get the other one off the top of my head. But a Wauwatosa police officer by the name of Joseph Mensah killed a protester who claimed that he was shot at by Alvin Cole. Alvin Cole was the one who was killed. Joseph Mensah lied and said that he was being shot at, which he wasn't. He ended up killing Alvin Cole. He's also killed 2 other people prior to killing Alvin Cole. Neither 2 of those were during a protest or anything. But the Wauwatosa Police Department and the DA, everyone in charge, refuses to not only fire Joseph Mensah, but also press any charges. They're not pressing any charges for any of the murders. I mean, it's a pretty big deal if you kill 3 people, let alone if 1 or 2 maybe is justified, which they weren't, none of which were justified. But yeah, I went down there to see the results of what happened. We were protesting peacefully, a couple hundreds of us. There were some younger people who got in with our protests and kind of increased our numbers, who did. I mean, I think maybe a handful of them, like, I wouldn't say they destroyed or looted a place, but they did take some items from a gas station. I wasn't affiliated with that. Everyone in the movement did not want that. These were some kids who joined and weren't a part of this from the beginning. But yeah, as I said, Joseph Mensa didn't get charged, so we protested. We were trying to march all the way from downtown Milwaukee all the way to Mayfair Mall. It was kind of like a cat and mouse game where we would be going down a street, they would cut us off, tear gas us, shoot us with rubber bullets. So we go down another street. They'd eventually meet us at another street, do the same exact thing. They kept trying to like push us back from Mayfair when we were being, for the most part, 100% peacefully. At least the major part of the group was. We weren't damaging houses, nothing. A lot of the things you see on the media were literally a handful of people who came to almost tarnish the image of this peaceful protest. But yeah, we didn't. Everything was peaceful. I got tear gas at least once. I got shot with a couple of rubber bullets. I didn't have any weapons on me. Didn't have anything that would cause anybody harm other than a flag. Or no, I didn't have my flag at the time, so I didn't have anything. But yeah, Joseph Mensa still works for the Tulsa Police Department. Still is employed. He's on, I believe, paid leave right now. That's been quite a while that he's not even doing his job, and he's getting paid to do it. But yeah, we're still, people in Milwaukee and in Tulsa are still demanding justice for the three, is what we like to call it. And that we at least, at the very bare minimum, fire Joseph Mensa. Because, I mean, I'm not anti-police, I'm anti-bad police. And he is the image of a bad police officer in many people's eyes. So yeah, that's how that went. I'm alive. I didn't get arrested or nothing because we weren't doing anything other than not obeying the curfew at the time. We weren't doing anything illegal. So, but yeah, that's how that happened. And yeah.
I think I'm at me. All right. Thank you, Eli. So unless we had any questions for Eli regarding that, we could move on to election season, which is the next thing on our agenda. So Amanda, if you wanted to take it away, you can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I had the privilege and the honor. Can you hear me? Okay. I had the privilege and the honor of working as an election official this season. I kind of started out with the August elections. I worked at Central Count at City Hall, which was just processing absentee ballots. And it was kind of crazy how meticulous that process was. And I was blown away by how much I didn't know went into elections, especially with that being a primary and as like more of a local and smaller election. But it was fascinating. And I ended up having the deputy clerk at the time, I believe she's taking over for Deborah Noiser, when Deborah retires in January. Her name is Mackenzie Reed Cotto. She actually reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in training to be a chief inspector, which means like a lot more training, a lot more information to take in. But eventually I will be kind of conducting a polling place. So for the November 3rd election, I ended up training under a very nice lady named Dorothy, and she kind of showed me the ropes of everything that goes into setting up a polling place, running an election, what is all involved in registering voters, you know, what's acceptable proof of residence, what's acceptable identification. And it was a lot of information, but it was fascinating, especially with so many concerns about voter fraud. Somebody would really have to go through to great lengths in order to commit voter fraud. I don't know how they would go about even doing it, honestly. The Wisconsin Elections Commission is super thorough. And I also just want to give a shout out to all of the city clerks, because they were handed such an extraordinary amount of work with COVID and the absentee ballots and the early voting. We actually had wonderful voter turnout for early voting at City Hall within the city of Manitowoc. I volunteered to work for the 2 weeks leading up to the election, registering voters so that they could vote in person absentee. And that was also a pretty interesting process. But yeah, the Supreme Court in, I believe, September kind of put a halt on the city clerks sending out absentee ballots, because of who was contesting being on the ballot. I believe one of those people was Kanye West. He ended up being a registered write-in, but not actually officially on the ballot. So by the time the Wisconsin Supreme Court allowed the clerks to continue sending out the ballots, they had about 2 days to get them all sent out so that people could fill them out and send them back. And then with the in-person voting, I mean, they were lined out of City Hall. Like the first day, there was a line all day, and it continued like that. Our polling place, I worked in District 6, which is Lincoln Park Cabin 1. We started the day with 60% of registered voters having already cast either an absentee ballot or early voting. And we still had almost 600 people come through our polling place. So voter turnout was just extraordinary, like record breaking. I don't know. It was a really, really cool process. And it just makes me think that anybody can get involved. You know, I had no election experience prior to this other than bullying my friends into getting registered to vote online. And yeah, being part of that process was really, really cool. And I really think that there's a lot of people that are involved in that process that are older, and they were putting themselves at personal risk with COVID, and you know, with them being older and having predispositions to complications for COVID, still showing up and working the polls was extraordinary of them. So if there are people that are younger, you know, that want to get involved, like, let us know. We could definitely start doing that. Civic engagement starts in the community. Like it's really the local elections that determine how your community is led. So continue to look for more opportunities, coming from me at least, to get more involved in our community stuff, community government. I think that's it, unless you guys have questions.
Yay, Amanda. That was a whole lot of work.
It
So
was a lot. It was fun though.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing all of that. I think the other thing, like you had said, it's really important, not only to vote within presidential elections or major elections, but also to vote in local elections. If you want to change the way that your community is, it really does matter who, is on your city council, who is on your county board, who is your mayor. And it's important. So please also make sure to participate in those types of elections.
When is the next local voting for anything, Amanda?
There is a primary in February, and there is a mayoral race in April. So the mayor will be up for re-election. Usually those include local ordinances, city and county government as well. I don't believe the county county board supervisor seats are going to be open for re-election until 2022. but it's always good to just stay informed, because the people that, you know, are on our city council, are on our county board, they're the ones making the decisions in our community that actually affect us. So, you know, going to city council meetings, there's one every third Monday of the month at 6:30 in the council commons. They also broadcast it live. Um, those things, those things are like kind of just a window into what's going on in our community. And I think it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So I kind of bullied everybody in this group to to going and getting involved with that kind of stuff.
But like I said, I think it's really important, and I think, you know, I'm glad and I'm thankful that you did, because it's important to what we do and what we want to do in our community, for us to know, you know, what's going on with our local representation. So yeah. Anything else in regard to the elections or local civics before we move on? I know we had a question in regard to Ruby. I will note that, and I'll discuss it once we get to public input. So we're not that far away from that. But I will definitely address that at public input time. So our next thing that we have on the agenda is holiday event suggestions. So we've been talking about, you know, trying to kind of plan ahead, especially with holidays, with COVID, with winter. What can we do as an organization to highlight holidays, have any sort of events, social media posts, anything like that, helping educate people. We have discussed that a want for us to make sure that we're highlighting all different types of holidays that happen. So obviously, you know, around here, we're used to, you know, Christmas, and that's kind of about it. But we definitely want to take some time to highlight other types of holidays that happen around the holidays. So if anybody has any suggestions as to, you know, information on any of those things, anybody that maybe we could talk to or collaborate with, ideas for, you know, virtual events or possibly in-person events, with, you know, obviously, like we said, with COVID being so high here, we're really trying to be safe and make sure that everybody is safe. So if we can keep it virtual, at least for now, I think that's the best thing. So yeah. Was there anything else anybody else wanted to add about the holiday events?
I wanted to add something about the Ruby thing. I think someone was questioning why Ruby would need financial help. That's more for, I think it was Kathleen.
Yeah, Eli,
all right, what?
I'm going to address that at public input time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if nothing else for holiday events, we can move on to Arts and Humanities Committee. So, that is me. And the first thing that we have on there is the project that I'm doing. This is, you know, separate from the group, I guess, but kind of talking about it in general. I'm doing a project with the RAR called Portrait of Manitowoc, where I'm going to be, I've already started painting roughly 10 people from the community, a diverse range of people from the community. So far, I have painted Natasha, and I have painted Dina Larson and my nephew, Keyshawn McCall, and Kevin's twin sister, Katie Siebert. I painted her today. She was amazing and lovely. And those have switched to live sessions as well because the RAR is closed due to COVID. But the exciting thing about that not only is that you can watch these things live, but about the project is that the community can participate, and I highly, highly encourage the community to participate because it's something that you can do in your own home. So there are these cards that we're asking people to do self-portraits on and then answer a question on the back of the card. And that is, how do you feel about your identity in relation to Manitowoc? And this is for people of any age. Anyone can do it. You can pick up the cards from, there's a box at the RAR that's outside, so nobody needs to be there. You can just go grab one. They're in plastic baggies, so they're protected from the elements. And there are directions and everything in with the cards that you can draw or paint on. And then they'll just be returned and to the RAR when you're finished, and they will become part of the exhibition in the end. So I'd love for everybody to participate. I think it's going to be great to see it all come together. If you have any questions regarding it or want to know more, you can contact me or the RAR. We'd be happy to answer any questions for you. The next thing is ways that we can involve art into our mission and activism. So I've been trying to think of different ways that I can involve art in what we do. So at one point, I was talking about possibly doing some mud stenciling. I'm trying to think of other ways that we can incorporate these things. So if there's any suggestions for that, that anybody would like to, even collaborate with, or something that you would just like to see within the community, or something that you would like to participate in, let us know. And we're totally open. I'm totally happy to talk to anybody about those things. So anything else in regard to art and humanities before we move on to the next one? Okay. All right. So our next section is education. So the only thing that we have right now for education, well, the first thing, I should say the first thing, because there might be a few other things. But we have an education chair opening. And we are looking to the community to fill that position. We have discussed as a board that the education chair that we would like to fill is we would like to have a person of color, just because we feel like that with a person of color, they can fully understand and have that lived experience of being a person of color, and therefore being able to teach and educate the public about it is going to come from a place of true, fully understanding. And we are also looking for somebody that hopefully maybe has a little bit of education background, or maybe is in the process of, becoming an educator. We're really kind of open to who it might be, just as long as they're able to meet the requirements that we have as a board. So we do have an application, and we can get those applications out to anybody that's interested. If you have any suggestions for people that you think might be a good fit for us, definitely let us know, and we could even contact them, or you can send them our application. We do have also a document outlining our board expectations so that people can have a better understanding of what we are looking for from a board member. So yeah, as Kevin just put up on the screen, you can email us to get more information on that, or we can answer any questions and discuss more. The other thing that I just want to highlight about education is what we are looking to do in the future with education. So I think one of the things that we've kind of been talking about is hopefully collaborating with schools, getting more things into schools that talk about race and diversity, and so that kids are, learning more about this younger than they have in the past. And also, even for kids that are minorities within a predominantly white community, I think it's important to address that as well. The other thing that in regard to education that we would like to do eventually, one of our goals is to develop training. So develop a training program where we are able to go out and train people, whether it be in businesses, other organizations, schools, all sorts of things, so that we are prepared and have the knowledge and experience to be able to train. So the reason why I say that that's maybe a little bit down the road is because we want to make sure that we are trained first. So hopefully us being able to take some courses ourselves and develop along the way our own training that we'll go out and be able to do and provide for the community. So another thing that we have done since the last meeting is met with the police, the chief of police, and then we also went back for another meeting in which it was the all the shift commanders, and we had a presentation with them explaining what our group is and how we function, what our goals are. And so we had a presentation to them. We answered questions for them. We asked them questions. We felt like it was a really good experience. It was me and Amanda there, and just getting to know each other better, because in some experiences that we have had with the police, we have felt like they didn't really fully understand who we are or what we did. So we wanted to make sure that they understood what our group was about, what our mission is, what our goals are, so that there's just a better understanding from both ends. So we want to continue that relationship with the police. And hopefully in that way, we can work together to make sure that our community is prosperous and safe. And also following, everything that we stand for as well. So the other thing is that Julia is part of now on our committee for education. Julia Lee from the Manitowoc Public Library. We are super happy to have her. She's been a great addition and great for the education committee. So we're super excited to have her on the committee. And I think that's about it for the education chair. So, or the education committee, sorry, unless there are any questions in regard to education or comments or anything anybody else needs to add. Okay. So the next thing is finance committee. And I believe Natasha is filling in for Ethan today in regard to that. So Natasha, if you want to go ahead.
Yep. Okay, so I first wanted to start it off with saying thank you to everyone who donated prizes to our Halloween costume contest. So we had prize donations from Nikki's Good Eats and Treats, Wrap It Up, Manitowoc Public Library, and Ryan's on York. I think that was everyone. Did I miss anybody?
And Waves Yoga Studio.
No. Oh yeah, crap. Yeah, sorry. Waves Yoga Studio. So we greatly appreciate all that from everyone. I will have formal thank yous in the mail as soon as possible. Let's see, other updates. We are now incorporated, so that's exciting. Yay, we are getting further along in our nonprofit status. The next step is that we are going to file for an EIN. And then I think after that, it's just filling out the, application for the actual 501(c). I think that's it for that. I think I have to send in the bylaws to Wisconsin Department of Revenue. I don't know. It's all complicated, not really, but yeah. What else? So for our income, we have had some donations since our last community meeting. So right now our income is $1,100. So that's pretty awesome. 100 of that dollars is for Ruby. So that's also exciting. Some of our expenses are application fees. Let's see what else. For our process of becoming a nonprofit, event supplies, and our banner that we made for the farmers market. We will use that for future events too. So that's pretty exciting. We do have a wish list. I don't think it's completely finished, but some of the things on there that is insurance for us, t-shirts, remaining applications. We want to get a laptop for Amanda so she can be all awesome with getting her notes together for meeting minutes. I can't talk, sorry. What else? We eventually want to get an office space, so that would be really cool, but obviously that's going to be down the road. We will eventually post that list and updates to it, I believe, on our Facebook page.
We need a bus.
What? A bus, yeah. Yeah, eventually we want to get a bus, so that would be really cool, but also probably down the road. We also I think, are going to post the budget so that we can have transparency and everyone can know what's going on, like what's coming in and what's going out. I think that's it. If anyone wants to make donations, Kevin has that information posted right on the screen for you. I think that's it. Anything else?
I just want to add in regard to donations, if anybody is making donations and you want to donate for a specific thing, so say, you want to donate towards Amanda's laptop, please just let us know send it along with your donation, maybe a letter or write it on the memo of the check or wherever you can, just so we know where you would like your donation specifically to go to. If you don't have a specific location, that's totally fine too, and you don't need to put anything down. But yeah, thank you so much to all the donors that we've had so far. We really, really appreciate it. It's given us a little bit of income to work with, and it's been super helpful and super encouraging to to be able to keep moving on and eventually, becoming a nonprofit. So thank you so much to donors and to all of our supporters as well. So is there anything else for finance before we move on? Nope. Okay. All right. So we can move on to public input.
Actually, can I say one thing before then?
Yep.
No? Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say this earlier, but I forgot. So I have been better at sending out newsletter updates. Everyone finally got the Get to Know the Board one after a million years. So yay. I'm hoping to do another one soon with everyone else who's on our board and other committee members. If anyone wants to be added to our mailing list, just send us your email and your name so we can get you added to that. And also make sure to follow us on all of our different social medias so you can stay up to date on everything. And that's it.
Thank you, Kevin. All right.
I'll flash that again later.
So we can move on to public input. And since we had a question in regard to Ruby, why does Ruby need money? Okay, so Ruby, the reason why we're collecting money for Ruby is because obviously this case is not Ruby against the person that did this to her, right? It's the state against Kathy. But because of the things that have happened along the way, such as, we have concerns about the signature bond, we have concerns about making sure Ruby is protected as a victim and is getting all of her victim rights. So this money is meant for Ruby as legal counsel. So it's meant for her to be able to talk to a lawyer and get help from a lawyer to proceed with this case and keep watching this case. And in turn, if anything would turn into further legal action on Ruby's end towards whether it be Kathy Yuck or the state, then she has somebody that's been kind of with her the whole time, that understands the situation, that's been following it, that can help her in the best way possible.
As much as we have followed it and been there for her, a lawyer would do a lot more for her than we could.
Yeah.
We'll take them a little more seriously. So
yeah.
And it's also some of those. Originally, I think we started GoFundMe to help with that, and then maybe if she had to go request off, take off work to go to a court date, or where she's taking care of I believe 4 kids and she's a single mother, so it's the way they schedule court dates. Obviously, it's going to be during her time of work. So if she wants to go to that to make sure the state is doing everything right, she's got to take off work and miss out on hours. So that kind of incorporated, in my opinion, a little bit in with it. And I think me and Sonia kind of agreed to that. That if needed, if she had to miss an extensive amount of time of work, we'd be helping her as well.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is too, understanding that Ruby is the victim in this situation, and she doesn't, and now she's left with this whole thing, and making sure that she's on top of what's happening, making sure that she understands why or what's happening, making sure that she's safe, making sure that her family is safe. So she's been put into this situation that didn't just end when after she reported it to the police. She's still dealing with all this stuff. So I think helping her monetarily is just one other way to relieve some burden on her in this whole situation. And so while the fund is primarily for legal, and that is the main goal, is to get her some legal advice and legal help. I do also think it's important to recognize that she may need funds for help in other ways, just with day-to-day life things because of having to deal with this also. So yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, Eli?
I mean, when it comes to, I guess we might as well touch on it now. The fact that Kathy missing her court date, she's worn out, and I mean, it's all falls on. At the end of the day, it falls on Patricia Kappa, who did say that she had a good record of attending her court dates and everything, which she obviously didn't. You can CCAP her and find numerous bail jumping charges on, or bail jumping things on there. So it's like Manitowoc, along with that, and then dropping the charges from what they originally were, hate crime with terroristic threats as an enhancer. I can't recall it specifically off the top of my head what it got like dropped down to, but I mean, in my opinion, Manitowoc has dropped the ball on this. If you want to set a precedent and a standard that you do not accept these type of things in this community, then why did you drop the hate crime? Because they tried to say that she just did it aimlessly. No, she didn't, because on the videotapes, which my manager when I was working at Walmart told me, she sat in her car, waited for Ruby to go inside, and then put it on her car. The little story that they have been giving people that she just aimlessly did it, that's just BS. Like Manitowoc, do the right thing, put the hate crime back on her. So yeah, so I mean, you guys can look it up. It's on her CCAP what the charges are. And Ruby got a letter, I believe, like a week after Kathy missed her court date, saying that Kathy missed her court date. So thank you, Patricia Kappa.
Yeah, so I think the thing to, kind of piggyback off of what Eli was saying is that we have the petition to reinstate the hate crime as Kathy's charge out there. But we also, I believe, on one of our posts or possibly in the petition, also talk about some of the other representatives involved. So the judge, Patricia Copa, she is the court commissioner. So she assigns what people's bail is when they get charged with something. And so that's why, like, Eli was talking about it, a lot of this being on her because she assigned a signature bond, meaning that Kathy got to sign a piece of paper and leave jail. And we just think, after somebody doing something like what she did, a signature bond just seems like a slap on the hand, especially with Kathy's record history, which you can see on CCAP. So yeah, if you have any other questions in regard to that, or ways that you can help, or anything else, just let us know. Otherwise, we can open it up also to any other questions that we have gotten.
So we have a question, wondering how long you guys think it will be before you have lessons or speeches prepared to possibly present at schools or as education to youth as a whole. Is one of the questions we have.
So the way that I see it pretty much is that we are going to need some time to prepare, especially since we don't have an education chair right now. I think once we get that education chair, hopefully we can really start moving. I think we have some ideas, as each other and, our experiences with education, and, kind of building off of that. But I think it might be a little bit yet before we can have something fully fledged and developed. Amanda?
I think it's also important that we consider the fact that schools aren't normal right now with COVID. So I think, it might even be a possible idea to do these kind of things just virtually. But I think we did have somebody from Lincoln High School that contacted us about possibly getting involved. And Sam, you said you knew somebody at the school, right?
Yep. I have some contact information that I have to give to Sonia for the diversity coordinator for the school district and the 2 diversity coordinators at Lincoln. So hopefully we're going to be in contact with them and starting some cool things up.
And if I can just say something really quick too, because I know we've been asked to speak at things before, and I don't think there's anything to say that we can't speak to our experiences as individuals, and represent the group in that capacity. So if you wanted us to speak at something and you're like, hey, is there anyone who's had experience with racism and wants to speak on their experience? I'm sure that there is 1, 2, if not more of us who are able to do that. But speaking as far as like giving a training or some kind of like formal education, like Sonia said earlier, that's going to take some time to develop.
Like an assembly like they used to do back in the day when schools were actually in school.
Right.
The private schools are still in school, by the way. They have not called off schools.
And Two Rivers is still in session in person as well.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised. Anyway, did we have any other questions?
Just an idea from Sam. A community sidewalk chalk mural open to the public maybe in the spring.
Yeah, that sounds great. It's a good
Maybe.
way to
kind of like
incorporate
the
art.
thing we did where a couple of us got together and did the chalk thing in front of the R.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be a kind of cooler to do even something like all the way around the library and get everybody involved, like do all the sidewalks around the library. That'd be pretty cool. So, and each person gets 1 little square of sidewalk. Maybe we can work on something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I have a fundraising idea that I think might be too long to put on the screen, so I'm just going to read it real quick. Teaming up, the idea would be teaming up with individuals of different ethnic backgrounds to make family recipes out of the Grow It Forward kitchen, if that can be worked out with the lovely Amber, in a series of live events, and then portion out the dishes to viewers who could pre-order and come pick them up. I don't know, I know people love to eat. Well, let me see. I lost my spot. So it's usually an easier sell. I'll help however I can to make it happen if you guys think it's a decent plan. And that's from Jennifer Kitzman.
Me and Amber actually talked about that when we first got together with her when Jay was still around. We talked about having like a community dinner, and then like each week, month, or whenever someone comes in and cooks that dinner from like a different ethnicity, and it's all free of charge, and it's just kind of like a a way to meet new people, meet people that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet before. So yeah, me and Amber Dogs, who runs Grow It Forward, spoke about this like back when we first started working with her. So
I love that.
I would definitely make some Pakistani food for people. So, yeah, let's do it.
Yes. That does sound like a good idea, though. I would eat. I can eat.
I
We
won't
all
be
can
cooking, but I'll eat. But yeah, that sounds awesome. Amber, if you're still watching, I know you were before, but let's talk about that. Anybody else? Any other questions?
I haven't had anything else come in since for a hot second, so we can shoot the breeze for a second because there's a slight delay. If people
I might as well tell them like the two things that I've kind of been thinking about working on. One was I don't know, the I'm trying to get a list of all the not only Black doctors but like all minority doctors. I feel like in this I've had a couple of specifically Ruby come to me asking me if I knew of any Black doctors here locally. I think the closest we were able to find was Sheboygan, but I'm trying to like accumulate a list of all minority Black doctors that are in the area, because I mean some people are just feel a little bit more comfortable by like being seen by someone that they can more like relate to and connect with. I mean, at least that's how I am. I don't want. It's different with me. Like I just like to see a male doctor. I don't know why, it's awkward. Anyway, yeah, and then that I'm working on slowly but surely. I'm trying to get it through the whole state of Wisconsin. And then another thing I'm in the process of kind of throwing together is a podcast. I haven't really communicated with Kevin with it yet, but me and someone else is kind of coming up with this idea. So I'm still going to need Kevin's help with it, because he'll make me sound more politically correct. But yeah, that's in the works too. And some of you might say, who is this white redheaded dude to speak on racial discrimination or something? But I grew up in and around Black community in the South and Milwaukee. I've also been an outcast from when I first moved up here. I was like the token redheaded giant that no one really talked to. So it's kind of like I want to do a podcast about people not feeling uncomfortable in their own, like people just not feeling comfortable, like how you can actually be yourself and feel comfortable no matter your race, no matter your who you are, no matter what you're into. And yeah, that's just kind of me like saying like let people be people no matter who they are. So yeah, that's my little speech.
I should have been recording that soundbite. We could have used that for publicity.
Dang. Well, this is live, right? Like this will be. You can.
Oh yeah, I can save it.
Yeah.
Yay us. I don't have any. I have a suggestion for offering merchandise for the Winter's Farmers Market, such as literature, contact information, newsletter sign-ups, to have that available for the Winter's Farmers Market. Does anyone know where that's being held?
Grow It Forward.
Okay, so that's going to be at Grow It Forward, friends.
I think we were going to talk to Amber about seeing if we could do a table there. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely
Natasha and I were actually just there this morning at the first one.
Cool. Mm-hmm. I spent too much money on things I didn't need, but yeah.
Diana says that the RAR West Public Arts Committee might be able to help us with chalk too, because they got lots of chalk.
I got one other last thing to say. This is my friend Malik's new book. Is
it intentionally upside down?
It's upside down. It's a double-sided book. There's a reason. It says Kaliana Says. It's about a little girl and her story of becoming like a big sister to a newborn. It's actually double-sided. He's a local author. He wrote course 28 or 29. I can't remember the number, but He's a good friend of mine. He's here locally. A Black author. It's like I said, it's double-sided. There's that side and this side. There's two different stories. In the middle, there's a little coloring book, so it's actually a really cool idea. He brought this to Julia at the library, and she was thinking about doing like a reading, like a public reading with him. But because of the COVID, she's going to think about doing it virtually. He's also going to think about reading his Course 29 book, I believe it is. He's going to get mad at me for calling this the wrong name if I did it wrong. But
It's 28.
Yeah, Course 28. And sorry, thank you. But yeah, he's a really talented artist or author. And his name's right there, Malik Mayo, but he also goes by Malik DeAndre, I believe. And yeah, check him out. It's called Cali.
Now, where can people get the book?
What?
I linked the book to Google from Google in the
Yeah,
comments.
You got it.
I think it's on Amazon, and I think it's on like a couple other places you can pick it up from.
Kind of going off of that, something that I guess I would like to also touch on. I think we've talked about it before in community meetings. But I think with the holidays coming up, and especially because of COVID, small and local businesses are hurting the most during COVID. And I think it's in general super good to support minority and local owned businesses. So if anybody has minority owned businesses that they think that we should add to a list for local businesses to shop from for the holidays or support
minority artists too. And don't forget that.
Yes.
Minority owned Mondays.
Yes, and minority owned Mondays. We talked about that once before, about doing like a social media post every Monday and kind of putting it out there of a different business every Monday to support and look at. So yeah, if anybody has any suggestions for that, or if you own a business and you are a minority, definitely let us know. Drop us your links and stuff, and we'd be happy to shout you out or put you on our list that we'll put out there. Anything else? Do we have any other questions?
We are fresh out of questions, comments, and or concerns at the moment, Sonia.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else from the board want to say anything or have anything that you want to bring up yet? Okay. Well,
one last thing. All right. So all that stuff that happened in Kenosha months ago that I'm sure most of the people watching knows that happened to me. Chances are all those charges are getting dropped. My resisting charge is gone. My curfew charge, it will be dropped according to my legal representation down there. So yeah, that's good news for me.
Yeah. I should say.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to make sure you follow us on all our social medias.
Yeah.
There they are. Amanda's killing it on Instagram, and Natasha's got Twitter wrapped up. And I'm doing a mediocre job with Facebook, but we're all trying.
You're doing great.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. We need more followers.
Twitter is a great place to get away from Facebook. So yes, definitely go follow us on Twitter. All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, we can possibly conclude. We don't have a set date for our next meeting, but we will likely do this again, especially with COVID being a thing. So, yeah, our next one will likely be a virtual session as well. And we will make sure to put it out on social media once we have a date for that. so you can join us. And thank you for joining us today. And thank you for joining us today and asking questions and supporting us. And thank you again to people that have donated or are going to donate or plan on donating. We really, really appreciate it. And we appreciate all the support from the community. So thank you.
Thank you for attending our TED Talk. I'm kidding.
Do we have to officially adjourn, or can we just say bye?
Bye.
We can just say bye.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.